I wish you guys the best with your Yum Yum podcast.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm excited, Rachel, of course. I'm thrilled to be back here. We've enjoyed our little respite, our little break between the seasons. We even had Aaron Ashmore deliver us a wonderful message, letting us know what it was like to work on this show and give us that encouragement and further excitement for the seasons that lay before us with Killjoys. But I'm most importantly excited to be here with you yet again, talking about something.
Yeah. We're here to talk about an episode of Killjoys, a show that I have never seen and you have seen once.
Killjoys is a science fiction series from the Sci-Fi channel. Remember those guys? Remember when they made shows? Remember that? Well, this show is 10 years old now, and we are here talking about its second season premiere. So I hope you all enjoy the ride. If you are people who have never heard our show before, we are Yum Yum Podcast because we love the line Yum Yum from Star Trek Discovery, in which a character said the phrase Yum Yum in reply to the question of, would you like to hurt the main antagonist of this season? And the character, out of nowhere, out of the blue, just licked their lips, threw their hair back, and said, Yum Yum. It was absurd, and we said to ourselves, when we talk about Star Trek Discovery and Hell, when we talk about any show that we cover on the podcast, we need to always remember the Yum Yum line, the Yum Yum moment, so we named ourselves after it. But don't worry, everyone. The Yum Yum of Killjoys and how we look at it through this series will become apparent in a moment. But first off, Rachel, this is the season 2 premiere. Could you remind us all what this one was called and what happened?
Dutch and the Real Girl is the title of this episode. We're returning to some fun titles. You promised, and they're delivering. My summary for this episode. Where do I start? Where do I stop?
So much happens.
Pre is on board and ready to go. Davin is just about ready to explode. Dutch takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back when it comes to Klein. And Johnny makes a new friend. And her specific appendage.
Meanwhile, Fancy Lee is not doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he doing excellent? This season 2 premiere was written by Michelle Lovretta, the creator, the showrunner, and she always
She knows
injects...
how to helm an episode.
She shoves so much in, and that includes some humor. And I'm wanting to hear from you, Rachel. What was the Yum Yum laugh of Dutch and the Real Girl?
I could give it to any line that Pre said, because they were all magnificent. Magnificent. But I have to give it to a visual moment, which is when Davin is having a sort of dream sequence, imagining that he's being rescued, and then he kisses Dutch, and sparks fly, and the tint changes to pink.
Music plays.
And the music swells, and it's beautiful and hilarious.
It's a new stylistic choice that we haven't seen from the series at all. Like, we've seen flares of style when it comes to, like, action scenes and, you know, quippy, but this is the type of thing in which they are playing around with what they can do with this show.
Beautifully ridiculous.
It was beautiful. The sparks that flew behind them. When we were watching this and filming our reaction to it, because we are reacting to this, people can find that on our Patreon in full or edited down on our YouTube channel. You were mystified at the beginning because it opens up with Davin having been rescued already, and you were like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? And then Fancy Lee's running around, and you're like, this has to be a dream, or this has to be a fake out. And then that kiss happened, and you lost your mind. You know from the moment, like, okay, this is a fantasy, and then it cuts to Luke McFarlane.
His dopey face in the chair.
Luca McFarlane, who plays Davin, he's a very handsome man, but he has such great comedic abilities with his face. He's so good at communicating across that Davin just has no thoughts rattling around in there.
It's empty.
Yeah, he's just a dumb boy, but a lovable dummy. My moment was tied into a part of the bitch count because every episode of Killjoys has to throw in the phrase bitch in
At
there.
least once.
Everyone's a bitch or bitches. This ties in because Johnny and Pri are undercover and they're playing up that they're a married couple because that's always fun to do.
Or at least longtime partners.
Longtime partners. And Johnny, he gets into the bit and he makes these remarks about Pri's mother and calls her a raging bitch. And everyone in the bar, every single person in this Wild West bar.
Nobody thinks that that's okay.
I laughed. I love that. It's just, this is supposed to be like the Tough as Nails bar where if you cross a line, you're killed. And everyone had a moment of just, excuse me, but that goes against manners. Like, it's just so funny. They're like, you can't say that.
No. Mums are sacred.
You can't say that about your man's mother. That's...
No. No nut shot this episode. Starting from this episode, I am going to do a number of episodes since the last nut shot.
It'll be a season now.
Because we're going to count up.
Oh boy, Rachel. You just want a number because I get numbers with bitches. I found the formula. It was 2 in this episode, by the way. That, and I'm pretty sure Dutch says later on that bitches get stitches.
Yep.
Great line. A great line.
But we are now 1 episode into this season and 0 nut shots.
I'm sure they'll fix it for you because Michelle Lovretta wrote this script and she just had to put so many things in.
She was busy doing other things, and I understand it, but like
busy that she couldn't include in the script a nut shot. And I'm not saying because there's a lot of action here. I'm not saying that the fault lays at the director's hands for that, but we do have a new director. And someone who's going to be a very important figure in Killjoy.
I'm not going to attempt to say his last name because I'm scared of it because
it's Polish. It's Polish, and it's like my last name. I think it's Ploszki, something along those lines. I'm not great with Polish last names, even though I have one. Because guess what? I only have to care about my own name. I don't have to care about other people's names.
You don't even know how to say Bartek's one properly.
Yes, I don't know how to say my Polish friend's last name properly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just a given. But guess what? This man is going to be one of the most important voices in Killjoys. He's going to
become a executive producer too.
He's the most prolific director of the show. He does the most episodes. He'll be here. And he has an impressive career. He's done a lot of TV, of course, and it's always different genres, different styles, children's entertainment, medical dramas, science fiction, mainly based up in Canada, of course. But I looked at his roster of work and I was quite impressed with things that I recognize. Talking about children's fare first, he did The Worst Witch, the one from the 1990s to early 2000s that we grew up on specifically. Yeah. And he was a major voice in that show as well. He even did the series finale for it. So he seems
to stick around.
He's usually, it seems like with a lot of his stuff is he enters a production a bit way through and he sticks around and is often trusted with the big episodes, whether it's a premiere or a finale, which says a lot about what he's capable of doing behind the camera.
Yeah. His most recent credit is sight unseen. But before that, he was like the main voice of the show Transplant, which looks like a show that I would have watched, but I haven't. And I am
you have
intrigued
time.
by.
You have time. That's a Canadian medical drama or about a Syrian refugee
He at the moment
who works in an ER.
Yep.
It's just finished up, so
Yeah.
you can watch it. Oh,
At the moment, he's got 50 credits even. Majority of them are directing, but some of them are producing, and some of them are writing, and some of them are like other jobs around the place.
holy fuck! He was location manager for the
Damn
great
it!
film Johnny Mnemonic.
I was about to. You stole my line.
Wait, does that mean he found the iconic location where Keanu Reeves stands on a pile of dirt and screams about how he wants room service? Oh, man.
I've had it with them. I've had it with you. I've had it with all this. I want room service. I want the club sandwich. I want the cold Mexican beer. I want a $10,000 a night hooker.
Thought it was a really good episode. It is the kind of affair that I am coming to expect from Michelle Lovretta in terms of the fact that it has a very clear and strong plot. It has a lot going on in terms of characters and themes as well as plot, that so much happens that you need to stop and digest afterwards. And sometimes those things are balanced better than others in terms of scenes.
And there's a lot to keep track of here. We have payoffs to things, we have setup of things, we have mystery, we have intrigue, we have lore, we have character stuff. It's all here, and it's dazzling. The presentation too was very well done. I thought there was a lot of cool camera moves in this, as well as the musical choices were really well done in this episode. The action scenes really popped. The use of slow motion was good. But for me, the standout element of this, above all else, is the wise move of having this plot involve Pre, because Pre is a character we enjoy. He's very fun, but we've never been able to see him outside of the context of him at the Royal being this voice of wisdom. The big takeaway was how much the formula can really shake up when you allow one of the side characters a little bit more time.
Yeah. That was a great part of this episode, was to just get more Pre. Thus, there were so many contenders for the Yum Yum laugh.
Let's just get into it. Pre is in the spotlight in this episode. We get to spend so much time with him, and we get to learn more about him, as well as getting to see him get to play in one of their little outings. And he stands his own, which is fun. But I need to know from you. I need to hear your thoughts on all of the Pre stuff, because you've been a big fan of the character, and it's like the show recognizes that, hey, people are fans of this character. Let's give them the treat. Yeah, let's give them the treat.
But it also makes sense that he would stay with Dutch and Johnny after they've dealt with the other refugees, because he does feel like he's capable of standing up and fighting, but also like Dutch and Johnny are his people, and he cares about them deeply. And that was, neatly reinforced by seeing him at the hospital with Johnny.
Yeah, last season. Yeah.
And it's going to be fun to have him around for a little bit. I hope that he sticks around for a couple more episodes, but we shall see. I don't know if that's one thing that if you remember or not. You're a bit fuzzy.
I remember a lot about Pre, so the answer is yes, I do remember.
Okay.
As I mentioned when we were doing our season recap, Pri is a character I loved a lot the first time round, and I'm getting to love even more on this rewatch because, like you're just drawn to him because you understand the archetype that this character is, but he feels new.
And it feels fun. Like, even though you learn that he's a very serious criminal in his past.
Has multiple aliases.
Yeah. Oh, you love the one with hair the most.
Yeah, they
right?
showed her his picture and he had like a big lion's mane of hair. He looked like a glam rock guy.
Yeah, he really did.
Uh,
Now that you put that label on it, I'm like, yes.
Prima was the name. His
full name.
His full name Prima Diz.
And it was nice to get that confirmation that isn't his full name.
What did you think of his criminal background reveal?
I really liked that it came from their boss. It's just like, why fake it? You got the real deal here. And he's just like, what? Like, you don't have skeletons?
What sealed the deal on that scene for me was not just that line,
but his outfit.
No, his reaction after that, where he just like turns his head and then just does a full like, he's got his tongue in his mouth, just darting across the cheeks and the teeth, and just does a little, and he strokes his bald head, just like so sassy, just like, yeah, so what?
That was a real fun moment, and getting to see him like dip back into that world. You see how into the gambling he is, and how it takes him a real second to get what Johnny's doing and to like bite back.
I like to
and be like, oh, you're okay. We're moving to that stage of the plan. I don't get to play anymore. I get to play in this other way.
I appreciated also seeing him flex knowledge that Johnny is unaware of, because he was a part of this life and a part of the criminality. And although Davin and Dutch and Johnny play dress up when they have to go into these worlds, Pri knows
they're
it.
not a part of it.
So I liked seeing just the brief moments of Pri in command, like in charge. Don't do this,
but
do this.
I really appreciated that Johnny says no to letting Pri take the lead.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, usually you would think that he would be like, oh, okay, he knows more about this. I'll listen to him. But he's like, no.
And there's a perfect balance of comedy and drama with just Pri as a character, because there's a lot of funny lines. So many of them in this episode were from Pri, but then when shit hits the fan, Pri is there. He's locked in. He grabs a gun. He shoots people. He's running around, but he also feels fear. Like there's a little bit of a cowardly streak almost.
Yeah,
but
he's
but
not
then
invincible.
But then
he knows that he is fragile.
Yeah.
And the situation is fragile.
And when I say cowardly streak, it's only for little moments, and then when he needs to step up, he steps up.
Yeah,
but he's
like,
clearly
is it
not
cowardice or self-preservation or a little bit of both.
And then it just highlights further how he is different to our Killjoys, and why if Pri did join their gang, he would offer up a different dynamic, and why it works in this episode. Like, why do you put Pri in a story like this? What does this character offer? And I really feel like the performer especially, but the writing, they milked it for all it's worth. They gave you pretty much everything that you would want from the pitch of what happens if Pri joined one of them outings.
Yeah. Pri on a mission with the Killjoys. It's just beautiful. I loved it so much. And I hope that it isn't the only time that we get this style of mission with Pri. But if it is, I suppose I can live with it.
I I'm not wearing my dyeing underwear today. You better get this box moving.
Hang on, I have to hack this thing old school.
You said this plan was foolproof. Well, I was wrong. Oh, I am divorcing you and taking all your imaginary money.
We are seeing what Davin is going through, and the other characters have yet to really learn what was going on with him.
I feel like the show overall is going to go down a like genetic purity kind of route. Because I think like in this episode, it's a big deal that Davin appears to be immune to the green goo.
They're injecting him. They're trying to make him a level 6, but he's refusing
They
it.
want to turn him into a level 6, particularly Klein, so that he can be puppeteered and sent back to Yala. And he can make Davin do whatever he wants. But Davin is immune. Like they're giving him all of these treatments, and then there's a big deal when they like move on to the next step, and he
Physically repels
rejects
it.
Yeah, like it repels. He's in a pool of goo, and then the goo goes everywhere else. And then there's also a point where Klein's like, oh, you shouldn't be able to see this yet.
Oh, with the memory.
Yeah.
And the big deal that worries them all is not only is Davin immune to this green goo, his immunity has a radius effect in which it makes their abilities with the green goo not work, because they can now feel like be hurt.
Yeah.
Like they can sustain injuries and it won't instantly heal, and that really throws them all off. But Klein is like, "Oh, I could use that. Awesome!" Like he finds a use for that.
Yeah, he sees it as a benefit. It's just another opportunity.
So you were saying you have theories about this being some form of genetic purity angle.
Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly, but it feels like it's some sort leading to some sort of genetic manipulation sort of thing. And I'm wondering if it's going to be I'm evil, but I'm the last of my species, and I want to restore my part of the galaxy to what it used to be, and I'm going to use humans as a starting point.
And you think that's coming from Klein?
No, I think that's coming from the lady.
Okay. That's mentioned at the end of the episode.
Because I think she's going to be the big bad.
Because Klein in this episode is framed differently. They put him in a different light, as he is subservient and working in the shadows to undermine this organization he is a part of. That's what it reads as. Davin, he has these great back and forths with Davin, in which he is pissed off that making him a level 6 didn't work, but also overjoyed that he now has found a weakness for the green goo. Like he's like, well, I've got some level of success here, I guess.
More information benefits him no matter what it is. That feels like it's Klein's approach to things of like knowledge is power. So if I know something that I didn't know before, that's a good thing. That gives me more power and something to play with in all of these different contexts.
Klein uses the fact that Davin can form an immunity to the green goo to take out people. He kills people. He kills these scientists, and he uses it to kill whatever forces are after them. And he does help Davin. Like he lets him know, like, I was going to use you for this specific purpose. I was going to send you back to Yala, to Dutch, and get you to manipulate her to do what I need her to do. We still don't know what that is. But he still is telling Davin, like, look, you have to manipulate her to get her the fuck out of here, because she's going to be here, and you should do what I always did. lie, which that was one of my favorite lines of the episode, and it was just delivered so well. It was a good end of a scene. Just do what I always do: lie, close door.
It's also paired up nicely, sort of in the timing of the episode, because it's happening at a very similar time to the fun stuff in Eulogy is happening.
Dutch and Johnny and Pre going undercover to find this shielding technology to get them onto
land on the moon.
Let them land on the moon, because there's there's layers of shielding that fuck you up and give you radiation.
Dutch just tried to go full throttle through.
Yeah, it's neat paralleling, because in Davin's story, he, in his mind, he's just like barreling through to escape and do what he needs to do, and it doesn't work, obviously. And then with Dutch, she in the real world, it's like, I'm just gonna fucking drive through this shield. Eventually, we have to break through, right? And then it just complicates.
It can't go all the way down. And then Lucy has to, pull them up, because otherwise they're gonna die. And Dutch is like, "Don't you dare, you bitch!"
And Pre's just like, "Sugar, honey, you need to really think of a different method out of this."
But she's desperate.
She is, and I think it's cool
and
too.
It's really struggling, because it's a problem where she knows what the solution is, like what she needs to do, but doesn't know how to.
Mm-hmm. She knows the end result.
She hates feeling helpless. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yes, and I think what I really like about how this episode manages to make the Davin side of the story and the Dutch side of the story feel worthy of being in the same episode, because it's hard sometimes to justify it, because Davin's side is very slow in comparison. It doesn't have a lot of fast-paced things going on, and it's giving us world building and lore and teasing out intrigue, while Dutch's side of the story, although it has the objective of connecting with Davin, it is very much a heist of the week type affair. Oh, we got to go undercover, go to this criminal bar. Oh, we get snafu'd in court, and now we run around and shoot guns, and there's going to be complications. But like, how do you make these things feel like they work together? And what I really love is Davin is paired up with an unlikely ally, the guy who got him there in the first place, and they have to shoot their way out of there. And then with Dutch, it's the same thing, where she pairs up with an unlikely ally who's also the reason that she's there, and they have to shoot their way out of there. But it's the way that they present these things is vastly different to one another, and yet when you break it down to its core elements, they mirror each other. They're very similar to one another. And with the undercover stuff, how did you feel about the way that the show went through it this time? Because we've had them do undercover before.
I didn't love it. Like,
well, we love the Pre and Johnny stuff.
Oh, yeah. But the setup felt a bit clunky, and I'm like, are we ever going to see Eulogy again? Because it feels like we can't, but they set it up really clearly and distinctly. But it seems like it would be a good asset to have and be able to use, especially if Pre sticks around. So that made me feel just a bit like, oh, okay, that's all we're going to get to do with that idea. That kind of makes me a bit sad. The entrance, and I did not like the reveal that Dutch was in the gun case. I knew she would be, but I didn't like it.
Did you?
And
like
I didn't like that she's wearing a wig when she's not. Like, she's not going to be seen until she's discovered anyway. So why the fuck is she disguised?
Yeah, there's no reason for her to be in an outfit or disguise. And it's not as if what she's doing, if she's discovered, she can just bluff. Because as we see, that's the case. She can't just bluff her way out of it by being dressed up as someone else. And it also raises the question of, is Dutch so well known, visually speaking, that random thugs would know her? and does a wig cover that, but Johnny is fine. You know, Johnny, who's always with her and is always there. But it does raise those questions. This was a case to me, and I think it's been the first major case of this, honestly, in which they just went with, she's sexy, and we could do something really cool and sexy with her without having a real thought process behind it. To me, this is the first real time where that's really stuck out, because we've had other moments of like that being obviously a part of it, but it felt like there was more thought and care and internal logic put into why we could have, say...
It's like, oh, no, we need this here.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you wanted it.
It's not even an aid, as we say, to what she has to do in the end. Like, she is going more covert in their mission, so she doesn't need to be in the zhuzhed up outfit. It's all right that she's in the gun case and they smuggled her in because she's the weapon. That's fine.
Yep.
That works.
Don't try and kill a Killjoy, dick!
Wow, your game needs some work.
Oh, shut up and find your arm.
Already did.
And then that sort of mirrors Clara, who we meet as part of this plot. And she's got this arm called Alice. He's like, I just love that.
It's a big
prop.
gun. It's a big gun.
Yeah, but like there's lots of different types of gun.
She cycles through different chambers.
Yeah.
Which adds to the
Swiss
Wild
Army
West
arm.
feel of this episode.
Mhm.
Because this is like a Wild West town.
Yeah.
And then she has like her revolver arm, basically, where she like spins the barrel of it.
It makes me sad because they do such a good job of setting her up and how she would fit into the crew. And then she's gone. And I'm like, I get the feeling that you'll be back.
She said to phone her.
Yep. But I'm sad that she's not sticking around more. But I do wonder if it's going to be a case of that she'll come back to help them with the end of the Old Town plot and then kind of stick around. And I also just want to say that I love the resolution to not handing her in terms of the warrant, because she's not considered a person under company
law.
law.
I really liked how this handled it too, of using the sci-fi stuff to really hammer in the dehumanizing nature that this universe has within it. The fact that these criminals have bought her as a slave and then hacked her up so much that she's no longer legally considered a person anymore, and that Johnny's concern is one about caring for her as a person. Like, we are going to use her, but doing this is killing her. Like, we are contributing to her inevitable, horrible, slow, painful death so that, I can get my brother back? Like, even he has worries. And that's what, like, really makes Johnny stand out as a character, because this series and this episode really nails down how inhumane the universe is to people, but with our characters like Pre, Johnny, Dutch, Davin, they stand out because although they can be susceptible to the apathy that this universe has within it, they also can rise above it.
I am enjoying overall how the show is playing with the ideas of humanity, connection, and community in these various ways, and it makes me more hopeful that they're going to do something interesting with the Scarback monks, especially with the other stuff that we get teased with them in this episode.
Because there's a lot of different factions in this show. I mean, I was going to ask, how do you feel about there being cyborgs, basically?
I fucking love it. It feels like it makes a lot of sense, and it builds from things that we have seen. And it makes sense why we haven't seen somebody as openly modded as Clara.
Yeah, because there's a stigma and an outlaw. And also it seems like they are utilized outside of the quad a lot more.
Yes, because we're expanding out, like I also predicted.
Yeah, but we're still in the quad. But you're expanding out. But yeah, there's a lot of different factions to keep track of. Like, we've got whatever group Klein is attached to. We've got the Scarback
level
monks.
6.
We've got the level 6s themselves. Like, I'm not even talking about level 6s.
Oh, yeah,
We've got,
no,
like,
I was just saying.
yeah, we got those. We've got the rack itself. We've got the company.
The Black Root.
Whatever
the fuck they are.
Which seems like the SS.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that it's going to be obviously connected to the Scarback monks, and maybe like it feels really obvious, but in some way to the Scarback's chant of and the root.
Yeah. I guess you're focusing on the Scarback monks because they're prominent in this memory that Davin is living in this episode. We find out it's a memory. We don't know what it was at first. Like when you're watching, is it a dream?
It's one of those things where it's just teased that little bit, but it's teased that little bit multiple times in the episode. So it's definitely there for you to get interested in, to have questions about.
And then the flashback is the Scarback monks brutally attacking and being brutally attacked by the level 6s, I guess, because we see it's like they're dressed up the same and they're the people with goo in them, because Davin comes across somebody who's like bleeding goo out of them. But in the memory, he recognizes him as a Jacoby. So that's kind of an interesting thing, because Klein says it's not a dream, it's a memory. It's a shared memory. But Davin is excelling through it in a way where you're not supposed to be able to see that yet. And also, it does kind of disturb Klein that like Davin is able to like interact with the memory, not just like see it like you do a memory. He's like able to have back and forths in it, which is not how that should work.
He's not just a viewer.
No, he's not just a viewer of it.
He can participate.
What do you think of that memory stuff? You know, you're talking about like you have teasers of the, you know, you're looking forward to these, but what did you make of that?
I don't know. I really don't know, because it just is all questions at this point. And I'm not meant to have enough information to really guess at anything specific. But I really love the concept, and the implications of that I find really interesting. Of what are they going to do with that technology in terms of sharing a memory, as well as Davin's ability to participate? And is it going to be a thing of he can alter the memory, or is he altering the event of the memory?
And how far back is this memory?
I feel like it's going to be a quite some time. I feel like it might also be a secular thing of the Scarbacks and the root, the way that the Vorlons and the Shadows.
In B5.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have the end bit, the reveal of someone Davin saw in the memory, which also raises questions, of course, of he sees Dutch in this memory. And it does make you ask, though, if they go to Scarback monks and ask them about this incident, will they have an opinion on that? And it looks like this incident is taking place on this moon, which, you know, we learned last season, like, the rough history of, like, how long people have been here. So, like, we have, like, some time frames to work within somewhat, like, we're assuming these things.
And it's
but,
just
yeah.
like, oh, that would make sense if Dutch is connected to this, because Klein is also there, and is that Klein now, or is it like
I was going to ask
genetic similarities thing?
Yeah,
or is it because they're connected to that person? They're like the modern analog, so that's why they're in that person's place.
I saw that symbol in my dreams.
That wasn't a dream. It's a very old memory. It's part of the process.
Whose memory?
I don't know how I feel with this episode coming in and trying to also reaffirm this idea of like maybe we've misunderstood Klein. It's like, I don't know. He seems like a pretty shitty guy.
Yeah, I feel like just because he's not the top level bad doesn't mean that he's not your enemy.
Do the ends justify the means?
In the same way, like it always felt like it was heading towards this though, because there's this connection that they're continuing to explore between him and Dutch and what that means and what his purpose in that relationship is.
We have to see with more episodes, but it's like this, you have to be very careful with how you go about this, because you don't want it to be, well, yeah, he did bad things, but in the end what he was doing was right.
He did it for good reasons, so it doesn't matter that he tortured you and he made you kill people as a child.
Mm-hmm.
You need to forgive him.
He was going to make Davin a level 6 just to manipulate her. So this episode does show you that they are aware. Because, like with that magnificent line of just do what I always did, lie, Davin goes a step further. He does lie, but then he tells her the truth at the end, and she knew that it was a lie, but she needed to get out of there for their sake. She wasn't doing it for her own sake. She was doing it for their sake. But that's the difference between Davin and Klein, is Klein would never open up like that. He would never admit to wrongdoing. It's always, what I did is correct. And Davin, maybe he did something that's a little bit slimy, and it was objectively correct in this moment to do that, but at the same time he opens up and says, hey, I lied to you. Klein was there, and I felt I had to do this, and then that allows them to have a back and forth. Like, yeah, Dutch immediately acknowledges it and says that she knew, but that's the dialogue. They have a dialogue, they have a rapport, they have a relationship. While with Klein, with what we've seen, they don't have a relationship. It's a one-way street. It's a power dynamic.
Yeah, is imbalanced for sure. I wanna get this in before we move on to anything else, which is I am totally on board as of right now with Clara and Johnny being a couple. Their chemistry was great. I loved their banter. I thought it was cute, nerdy, and a bit awkward. Loved it.
What about Lucy? She likes Clara for a human.
Yes.
She thinks she's pretty hot for a human.
Yeah, I think Alice can be paired with Lucy and Clara with Johnny.
I think Lucy was really well utilized in this episode. Humorously, of course, but also the way that she and Clara can just have communications and chats with one another without either of them verbalizing it, like they just wired up to each other. I thought that was...
We don't need words.
We don't need words. Yeah, I like that. And I loved Lucy. You know, she comes across as so human at times, but then there are these moments like at the end where Johnny has to somewhat explain to her about you can't just keep a person because you want them. It just doesn't work like that. Because you say you want Clara to stay. And Lucy says that too. Lucy says, I like her. Can we keep her?
And the show says it.
Can we keep her? And Johnny just is brought back down to reality by Lucy's naivete. Because you can tell he wants that. You can tell he wants her to stay, but then because Lucy verbalizes this, like Lucy is like a part of him. Right? Like, she's kind of...
She's in the most bonded to Johnny.
Yeah. And she's like a little part of his id in a weird way. And she says this aloud, and it makes him take a step back and realize, like, oh, no, I can't go down this train of thought the way that Lucy's saying it, because she's her own person who's gone through a lot, and it just doesn't work like that. I think that was just a excellent piece of writing, and I'm glad that they included it, because it could have just ended with Clara leaving with the promise of she will return, but that there was like the perfect little clincher
Button.
to it. Yeah, a little button to it overall. As we wind down here, we've also been looking at this episode in the ways of how it is building out the bigger picture of the show, with the world building, the lore, and we have talked about how Killjoys has done really, really good job with that stuff as a science fiction show, because sometimes in sci-fi or fantasy, it can be very dry or just a burden when you can feel them put on the brakes because, hey, we've got a world to build here. But this episode, I thought, did it very well overall. Like, it's obviously got things
It has
happening.
its moments where it's like, pay attention to this. This is important. But it has lots of other stuff that's also important and doesn't get that treatment. I already mentioned the lady. I think she's going to be the big baddie. And I think we're not going to see who she is for a while. My long game pick is that the lady is going to end up being that member of the 9 that we've met, who I'm forgetting the name of.
Or Dulcea.
Bye!
Yeah, but she seems subservient to Klein in the season 1 finale.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a double play.
Okay.
That's my,
And
I doubt that it will be, because that feels dumb, and this show doesn't do the dumb thing.
Yeah.
But it's an idea that popped into my head, so I was like, I want to pitch that.
The Black Root seemed like it was like her division of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's level 6s and then there's them. Like,
Yeah.
they may as well have said level 7. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's the Black Root where they're even more powerful.
And Klein's scared of the Black Root, so we know that they're fucked.
And we had the ending of the episode. Now, we are teased on, next time we're going to deal with Old Town. We've got to infiltrate Old Town, but
It's going to be more complicated. It's got to be more complicated.
we got to see how our friends are. We haven't seen Alvis. We haven't seen...
Porter's doing okay
yeah.
her drugs.
Is Hills alive? You know, we saw him get knocked over. But is that the end of him? Is the Royal okay? These are things we need to know. But the end of the episode is Davin saw Dutch fucking murdering these Scarback monks in this memory. And it's an adult Dutch, too. Like, that's important. Like, it is the Dutch we know. And she's, like, in this magnificent outfit, and she's just, like, flipping around doing her usual things, panting like a wild animal.
Line to have as, like, the stinger of the episode. I saw you, Dutch.
What? And the camera did, like, the full spin around the room.
Yeah, and then we go back into the memory. It's
Yeah.
great. It's played out fantastically. Loved that moment, even though it was corny, but it's corny in a way that feels right for Killjoys.
She seemed to be perplexed by this.
Yeah.
So, again, as always, Killjoys answers things and then gives us new things to question. And I am ready to rate this episode on our system of Yum being bad and Yum Yum being good. I liked it. I have very few complaints, and the complaints I have are just very, very minor. This was entertaining. It went along at a good pace. It made me excited for the rest of the season, and I thought it was a good follow-up to the finale of last season, because that's something to keep in mind as well. Of it's one thing to be the good first episode of the season to get us pumped up, but did this live up to the hype of what we were given last time? And I thought it did that fairly well. Like, I was also a bit taken aback that they got Davin so quickly, because it does feel like this would take a little bit longer.
Yeah, but it feels weirdly similar to that deflation almost that you get in TNG's big...
Best of Both Worlds.
Yes.
where, we're going to... Picard's a Borg now. No, he's fine.
Yeah.
But then we get the episode with his family afterwards, so then it feels like there's more. I don't know if Davin's going to be going to the vineyard to punch Johnny, but we'll see. What do you rate this on Yum or Yum Yum?
Yum Yum. Yum Yum.
So next time on our podcast, we shall be watching and then talking about Season 2, Episode 2, Wild Wild Westerly.
Yes!
Yeah, I told you that they get a little bit playful with their titles in this show. And I told you, Enemy Klein was the one where I pinpointed where it unlocked for them, and they're just gonna do it. Now there are gonna be a couple.
The finale episode didn't have.
No, they eased back. Well, Escape Velocity had a few different meanings in that episode, so it was kind of playful.
Pretty much all of the episodes last season had multiple meanings.
Yeah, well, I mean, the harvest was just the harvest. You know.
I thought I managed to get a second layer of meaning from the harvest.
But.
Anyway.
Wild Westerly will be up next time, so everyone... Thank you so much for listening to us talk about Killjoys. We would appreciate if you could give us a rating and review and share the podcast around. Do you know people out there who are first-time watchers of Killjoys and would love a companion?
In their lives.
Maybe you know someone who loves this series and would be keen on hearing people talk about it. Send them over to us at Yum Yum Podcast. Rachel, where can people find us on the internet?
Under yumyumpod or yum podcast. If you want to send us an email, you need to direct that to yumyumpod@gmail.com. But I would say that my favorite way to engage with people, because Ryan runs the socials.
I do run the socials, yes.
So the main way that I communicate with people is through the Discord, which you only get access to as a patron.
We have Patreon, in which you get these episodes early, as well as full, unedited, raw reactions to us watching this show, and a huge back catalogue of bonus material, and a community Discord where we're chatting, sharing things, having a grand old time. If you have the means to support the podcast, it would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, Rachel, if Pre has more criminal backstory stuff, what's one kind of, criminal tropey thing that you would love to see pop up for him in the future?
Oh. Well, he's already a criminal with a heart of gold.
That's correct.
So it's hard to think of another one off the top of my head.
What about the classic An Old Flame from the Old Life?
Ooh.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that could be fun.
And I'm not even saying this happens. I'm just saying, these are fun things you could do. I would love if he, from this point on, we get to see, more aliases pop up for him. And I just want to see him with hair again.
I want to see him in the scene with a wig.
Bye.